Hey everyone, and welcome back. I guess it's been about a month, not to you guys, but to me it's been about a month since I made a video. That's because I was out to sea for a month. As most of you know, I'm in the Navy, and my ship decided to go to Hawaii to basically be the backdrop for the remembrance ceremony of 75th ceremony of the attacks on Pearl Harbor. While that in itself is memorable and worthy of everything that we did, and so were the men and women that died that day, quite frankly, I thought Hawaii sucks. I was born in Hawaii, lived there for a couple of years until my parents got stationed somewhere else. My dad was in the Navy, and I was born in Pearl while my dad was stationed there. It's just too hot. It's too hot and muggy. I was there in the middle of December, well, the beginning of December, and it was like 82 degrees the whole time we were there. It sucked. Raining. It's hot and muggy. No thanks. Anyways, so we sailed over there. We spent about a week in Hawaii, and then we came back. We sailed back. And man, am I glad to be back home. But it leaves me with this. I still have to finish my mom's present. So, yeah, let's get to it. So, this is kind of where I sit. It's the last set of pins that I have to make. And I've already gotten all the other pieces pretty much cut out. I still have to do a little bit of shaping on the other pins and tails, but for the majority it's done, with the exception of this side right here. I knocked this side out this morning, and while I was actually talking to my mom, I went ahead and chiseled this section out. Now I'm chiseling this section out. And this is the last piece until I'm ready to start fitting everything together. Dry fitting, that is, anyway. I wanted to just bring you guys along. Make sure you know that I'm still here, still alive, still trucking away. And I don't know if it's because of this. The wood that I'm chiseling right now is cherry, and it's dry cherry. But I don't know if it's that, or because it's so hard, my chisel feels, I don't know. Some parts make me feel like I need to sharpen my chisel. And other parts, it feels like it's already sharp, so I don't know. We'll see. We probably will sharpen them all at the end of the day, because they will need it. While I was in Hawaii, I did go ahead and purchase something that I didn't have before and would have loved to have had on this project. And that is a set of dovetail chisels. I got 3 of them. This is the medium one. This is a 1/2-inch chisel. They're Japanese style chisels, made in the Czech Republic. Narex. Without going to a straight up Japanese chisel and paying an ass ton for it, this is about the best I could find online. It is a Japanese style chisel, but again, it's made in the Czech Republic. I have some other tools that were made in the Czech Republic, and they're holding up great. Good steel. good craftsmanship, so I can't knock them. I have not used these yet because I still need to get all the crap off of the chisel that it gets shipped in, all that cosmoline stuff. I get all that off there, and I gotta sharpen them, obviously, and get them tuned up. Once they're tuned up and sharp, then I'll be able to use them. The reason I got these is because getting into even with a tiny chisel, getting into some of these smaller spaces up in here, trying to get into these smaller spaces on the insides of the tails is very, very difficult. Especially because, if you look, even this tiny chisel, it's a tiny chisel. This is, I think, an 1/8 inch chisel, right? Look, it's got those sides on it that are also an 1/8 inch. And if you step up, even these guys, I know that will not be able to focus all that well, but these guys have a side on them too. And they're all going to have sides to some extent, but these are much smaller, and they go down, they have a more triangular shape to them without having that big sidewall. But this one even still has a sidewall, but it's very tiny compared to a regular bench chisel. So enough about that, but thought I'd just share that with you real quick. So I did get those, and right now I'm just, like I said, I'm still just chopping this guy out and working it. Getting ready to flip it over. I'm about halfway, close to halfway through anyway. I'll go at least one more. And we'll be done with this side. So when you're doing your down chops, right now I'm working on it where the pin is like this. So when you go down, make sure that you're not chopping into that sidewall. Tomorrow is Christmas Day, so as you can tell, I've talked to my mom. She's obviously fine with me working on this, being patient. She knows she's not going to get it for Christmas on Christmas Day, but it's kind of the way the world works sometimes. But now that I have a little bit of time, what I'm going to do, the thought process at this moment anyway, is to go ahead and do the carving on somewhere on the box. I do not know if I'm going to put it on the top or if I'm going to do it on the inside, maybe on the inside of the top or the front. I haven't decided yet. But I'm going to do some carving on it somewhere. So after this, I'll go ahead and flip it over. This just puts me in a real tight spot. I can't wait until all this scrap over here where I'm sitting is all cleared out of here, because it puts me in a very funky position to sit here, because I have a bunch of wood stowed underneath here, underneath the table. And I've been talking to a few people to kind of get their take. Not that it really matters, but I'm going to be retiring, as you know. I'm going to hang it up, so to speak, my naval career, which I think has been personally successful. It's taught me a lot. I'm going to hang it up, and I'm going to venture into the next chapter of my life. I plan on spices working out great, by the way. I'm going to be eventually, the dream is to move. It just looks crooked every time I look at it. Maybe it is, I don't know. A little too hard for the first strike. Well, it's because it was crooked. Oh, there we go. But the dream is to, for lack of a better way of saying what I want to do, homesteading. It's just the fact that I want to live life the way I think it was meant to be lived. My working days, working conventional work anyway, are coming to an end. I worked my butt off for what will have been almost 24 years in the Navy anyway, and before that too. But I'll have my military pension coming in, and my kids are grown and gone for the most part. I got one left, and she graduates from high school. She'll be this year in June. She'll be moving on with the next chapter of her life. Soon. Well before I retire anyway. And so what I'm looking at doing, and I will be living alone, I'll be living by myself eventually, because that's how I choose to live. So I want to live. Initially, I'm going to move in, most likely, with my buddy Roger in Indiana, so I can get things all figured out. But the goal is to purchase some land for cash, or with cash, up in the western Montana, northern Idaho area. I've driven through there a couple times, and it is some of the most beautiful country I have ever experienced, and I've been all over the country. And I may have talked about this already before, but that's what I want to do. I'm going to purchase some land up there, build a cabin of some sorts. I haven't quite decided yet whether it's going to be a log home or a timber frame cabin, maybe a little bit of both, but I'm going to start designing it here soon. Well, I've already started, but throwing a couple of different designs together. But I'm going to build my own house, and for the most part, live off the land. I'll heat my house with a wood stove, and I will grow my vegetables and I will hunt for my meat. I do not know yet. I haven't decided how far out I'm going to be. Originally, I wanted to be just off the grid completely, like, you know, hours or days away from civilization. But the closer I get to retirement, the more I realize that living that far out may not be the best option right out of the gate. Let me get out of the Navy, kind of get my feet wet, so to speak, and not being in the Navy, not having that structure around me all the time, which I can't wait for. And then make the leap out into the wilderness. So I don't know if I'm going to, depending on how close I live, I may not even have it available, but whether or not I'm going to be on the grid or off the grid regarding power. Obviously, you don't have to be on the grid, but that one already started knocking out. But I do like things that the power grid offers. I enjoy luxuries like taking a nice hot shower every night whenever I want. I can just flick the TV on and watch the news. I have internet access all the time. If I want light at night, I flick on a switch. Right, those are the things that, yeah, I can live without it. I've already started running little tests, like certain days, especially if I'm on a weekend by myself, a long weekend, I'll turn everything in the house off except for my refrigerator. Though that was in the wintertime. And I don't feel like moving everything out of my refrigerator just to move it back in 4 days. Plus, I don't want to lose it, have it go bad on me or anything like that, because that stuff costs money. But I have been, you know, I want to get to the point basically of turning the water off at the street, turning the power off, turning the main breaker off to the house, and, you know, live that way. Oh, there goes that. Live that way just to kind of get a reality check, so to speak, on what life is really going to be like out in the sticks, in the mountains, on, you know, without power, relying solely on, and I do that now, but relying solely on a wood burning stove for heat, for cooking, for, you know, not putting my frozen dinner into the microwave and pushing a button and boom, I have food. You know, those kinds of things. It's going to be an awakening. So, as much as I want to and I dream of living out in the woods, out in the sticks in the middle of nowhere, with no neighbors that can even hear me if I shout. I mean, literally, I don't want to live within 100 miles of a neighbor if I can get away with it. I just want to be out on the land and be left alone. But it's going to be, I do realize that those are challenges. It's going to pose challenges that I'm not necessarily ready for. It sounds all great in theory, but in reality, I do understand that that's going to be harder than I think. And while I have the skill and the ability, the drive, the want to do that, to live that way, I do not underestimate the fact that I need a reality check before I go jump into that water. I'm being careful here not to... I'm going past, but that's only because this is higher, so I'm just kind of... I'm not cutting wood at the end, so I'm just knocking off that little bridge right there. Assess my tails. And you can look and see where you need to work. But that's my dream. My dream is to live in the mountains, in the wilderness, by myself for the rest of my life. Of course, I'll come in and I gotta spend time with my kids and my grandkids and fly them out so they can spend time with Grandpa out in the wilderness. Teach them how to hunt and fish, and of course their daddy will teach them most of that, but they can come out and have fun with Grandpa. Spend the summer with Grandpa out in the wilderness. They'll appreciate one or the other, the wilderness or the lack of it. But, alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and I'll bring you guys back for fit up. That'll be fun, and it'll be basically just a dry fit. We'll get them to where they all fit. If they're snug enough, I may not even use glue. but I may use glue, so I don't know, we'll see. We shall see. I'm going to use glue anyway because I'm just going to be gluing long grain to long grain. Basically, when I'm going to glue and clamp the bottom on in that fashion. So we'll see. We'll see how it works out. Until the next video, friends and family, I love you. I'm working on your gift, Mama. It's coming along. Everyone else, I'll see you on the next video.